And I'm BJ. Welcome back to your weekly booze, news, and reviews. We're so glad that you've decided to join us. We're starting to get into those chilly fall evenings, and with daylight savings, it's now dark.
Can we just get rid of that? Can we fall in line with Arizona?
I
And
love that. I thought we did. I thought that we passed some rules, passed some laws.
It is
and that-
awful.
that we weren't going to do this anymore.
It's awful because you go outside or you leave the office. It's like I get to the office when it's dark and I leave the office when it's dark. And
You're
I
putting
don't
in those
like-
hours.
no,
It's because you're
I-
burning the candle at both
no,
ends, man.
No, it's because there's an hour time difference.
No, you just say it's because I'm burning the candle at both ends.
Two quick comments. A,
Yes.
we need to eliminate and just stay on daylight savings time,
Yeah, okay.
right? Isn't it? Or we stay on the other time?
You want to stay on standard time, or you want to
Standard
stay on
time.
daylight savings?
Whatever Arizona's on, whatever they call it.
I don't know.
And then number 2, we need 13 months in a year, not 12.
Oh, you want to
You
go with
heard
that
this?
20? You want to go with the 28-day
Where everything's
standard
even?
month? We line up with the moon cycle.
Yes, it's amazing.
And you
We
want to
call
do
it-
the 13-month calendar.
you had a 13th month. It's in the middle of summer. I
Mhm.
think they pitched it already. You call it, I think it's Sol, which kind of sounds weird, like Sol, like the sun. And you SOL, and then
I'm not opposed to it.
you have even matching up with moon cycles.
Okay.
All the days are lined up. But again, it seems like, we're on the standard measurement system. So I guess we have to keep it 12 months or whatever they call it.
And then you got to remember which ones have 31 days, which ones have 30
Yeah,
days,
Exactly.
which ones have 28 days. They all do.
They all do. Uncle P, welcome to the show,
Hey,
bud. How's it
Uncle
going? How's
Punky.
it going? Have you guys, how's the weather out there, man? Out in Lancaster? Is it getting a little chilly?
You sit by the fire late at night, you warming yourself,
That's like the perfect
tossing a log or two.
this time of the year. You get out in front of a fire and you have a whiskey or some type of libation,
Nice
with a
wine.
cigar or wine, a
Nice
whiskey,
full-bodied wine.
tequila, anything alcoholic. Good stuff.
Or non. Remember, drink responsibly.
Hey, I'm all about mocktails. I've had some incredible mocktails at some bars lately, and that's really I think that's a big thing now. You're seeing a lot of bars with more of a mocktail offering, which I think is great. Teach them while they're young, or no, maybe that's not why they do it.
Whoa.
That's not why they do it. They do it because some people just don't drink. And
Yeah.
what better way to make a profit than charge $30 for a mixed fruit juice drink? So, or $25. I guess. Anyways,
That's a way to do it.
what do we
Yeah.
got tonight? So we
Oh, you
quite
ready?
the
You got it
offering.
out? What do you got? Oh, yeah, we got some good.
we're pivoting.
We got some good. We've been waiting to bring this one out. So
It's
we
that
get
time of the year.
it's that time of the year. We get called out for not doing wine shows, and we are going to do the wine of all wines, the
Honey
original
wine,
fermented beverage.
I bet little baby Jesus and his troop back in the day were drinking honey wine, aka Mead.
Mead.
Uncle P said it was 45. It's getting cold, but good for picking up leaves. Oh, thank God. We don't have to deal with that out here.
What about good for picking some apples?
Oh, yeah. Isn't it that season? You know what? I want to talk about fruit and seasons really quick because I was very, very, very disappointed. I wanted to get some cherry bounce going, and I was going to go look for some cherries.
Yeah, I
and
thought you were going to do that.
can't get cherries. You can only get cherries June, July, August, if that.
What if you
There's
get
like
canned
there's like an
cherries?
8-week window. It's not the same.
Canned cherries.
No. You need real, Rainier cherries are my preference because we're on the West Coast,
Oh,
West Coast.
a little Washington
And
cherry.
yeah. And so he's picking apples at the store. is what he said. Yeah, exactly. Anyway, more to follow on the cherry bounce. We'll make it happen. We'll get it done. We'll get it
That
done.
might be a next year thing.
It'll happen.
I like that.
I could do a limoncello. I might be able to knock
little
out
cello?
limoncello
Yeah.
before the holiday season, right? I mean, not for Thanksgiving, but for Christmas. You could probably get one.
Excuse
pretty
me, I'm
quickly.
sorry, I'm dying.
Yeah, you're hacking away over there.
'Tis the season.
So, Superstition Meadery is what we have today. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that bottle that you just poured us?
I would love to. Thank you. It's straight out of Prescott, Arizona. Not Prescott, but Prescott. This is Superstition Meadery's contingency series. This is the Dolcezza apple wine. aged in whiskey barrels for 12 months, 16% by volume, and a 500 milliliter bottle. This beautiful apple honey wine is produced and bottled, of course, by Superstition in Prescott Meadery. You can check them out at superstitionmeadery.com. This is one of the top meaderies in the United States, if not in the world.
And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to post this in the chat so everyone can see it. The great thing, the awesome thing about Superstition is that they are pretty much available in like 30 states.
Yeah, it's easy to get
40
Superstition
states
these days.
Excuse me, 40 states, including DC. You can order this, not this one particular right now,
Yeah.
but they have some incredible offerings. As we go through the show here, I will share out my screen and show you some amazing stuff that we've had.
I'm going to be honest. Though,
I'm losing my mind right now. I can't believe
God.
I just, okay. Hold on.
Chocolate Grand Cru.
You remember the last time we had that, right?
Chocolate Grand Cru.
I think I'm pretty much, once we
there.
were talking to Patrick Rue, we
And
then had some chocolate Grand Cru.
What's that price?
Well, and they sometimes do discounts on their web store, 20-25% off.
Oh my god! So we're going to talk about that.
We need
tonight.
to hang
We're going to
tight
get there.
and
We're going to get there.
We'll get there. But that's
we're going to start
really
with Dolcezza.
what? Okay.
We're going to start with Dolcezza. I'm going to say this. I think this is a sign of a very good producer. Superstition, they mess around with a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Which means there's some really good stuff and there's some really bad stuff. I think that there are things that Superstition does really well, and I think there are plenty of things that they do really poorly. If you have seen, you've probably seen, not in the bottles but in the cans, if you are in one of those 40 states, you might have seen Superstition.
Oh, they distro tons of places. Look at this. Yeah,
they distro in a lot of places, and you can get the canned mead. Those are not good. I think that those are. I think it's a tragedy that they put that out there as a representation of who they are as a brand.
Do you remember which one particular? Or not?
Did the Desert Blossom?
Oh, I do remember that.
Not good.
Yeah, that's kind of a meh.
It's like, it's not beach blanket bingo, but it's like desert blanket bingo.
The one I do like, though, in the cans, I will say one I do like in a can is, I believe they do blueberry spaceship box in a can,
which is arguably not even a mead. That's more of like a blueberry cider.
Right.
So the good cider. I do like blueberry space box.
Mimosa. I think you're thinking about Mimosa. That was the
Mimosa.
Garbo.
Also not good. Yep.
Yeah.
Not good.
And I don't want to like sit here and like kind of rag on these guys.
I don't either. I'm just saying there are some things they don't do well. Dune Bloom. Not great.
Blueberry Dreamboat, I think, was the one I liked.
I haven't had that.
That's not. It wasn't Spaceship Box. It was
basically. I'm just gonna say, get your Superstition in a bottle.
Get it in a bottle, guys. Trust us. Not in a can.
Not in a can.
That's the one comment we have for you guys.
And I love you, Superstition. Shout out to you. We love you. We really do. We do love you.
No joke. And it's been for years. So I will say I was probably introduced to Superstition at the Brewery Beer Festival many years ago. I'm talking like,
it's a good partner vendor. Yep.
I think the first one me and Zach went to in like, I don't know, 2017, 2016, 2015. Way. I'm trying to like think.
I think 2015 is when you guys first went.
Might have been 2015. Right. And they've been so they've been in the game since, I think they've been selling on their web store since like 2012. And but they've started, they were making mead in Arizona. So they're based out of Arizona, first of all, Jeff and Jen out there. I think it was like in 2009. And they have their original, the OG tasting room in Prescott, or
which
Prescott for you.
Amazing. It's in the
non-townies
basement of this old
General
West
Goods Old
General
West
store. And this store. So here's the thing: if you know anything about Prescott, Arizona, Prescott is the common spelling. It's like where the Earp brothers, Wyatt, and I forget his brother's name, but the Earp brothers, this is where they were first lawmen in the Arizona territory. This is where they set up shop.
Morgan, James, Warren, and Newton, the Earp brothers.
They were all of them. That's where they had set up shop as lawmen. And so
Tombstone.
it's this.
Wait, is that Tombstone? Not Prescott. They were in
No,
Tombstone.
They were in Prescott.
All right. Okay.
They were in Prescott.
Great.
So they set up. It may have been for a short period, but I think that was where they originally.
Yeah, Virgil Earp, Whiskey Row.
Yeah,
Yeah, Virgil Earp was big in
Prescott.
So
it's Old West. It's very well preserved, and yeah, where they have this original tasting room, and where they've even got their production. Some of their production setup is in this basement of this Old West dry goods store. You go down there into this basement, and then it is like big 4x6 floorboards that creak over the top of you, and you can hear people walking up there.
It's
you
not
can kind of see the light
in any form or fashion.
Sometimes you see the dust coming down through the floorboards, and you're like, "Ooh, not into my glass."
Top Feed, what's up, man?
It's a beautiful spot, and it's beautiful because it is so old, so well preserved, and then they've done a really nice job of making a comfortable tasting room. So
Top Feed is making some bolognese and just needs some entertainment while he's getting it done.
Delicious. Delightful.
Delicioso. Send some our way. Overnight it. Just
the bolognese.
Seal it. I don't want to do that. It's not gonna last.
So let's get into this. To get into this apple wine.
Yeah. So this Dolcezza. So this is a limited release. So they only release for a while there. They were releasing these kind of randomly, these contingency series. Unfortunately, they're not something that you can just go pick up this specific one, which is fine.
I appreciate you have one.
But from what I know, it's aged in Colorado whiskey barrels. So I don't know if that's 291
Stranahan
or a
Old
slew
Elk
of others. And it's aged in those barrels for 12 months, coming in at 16%. I kind of get the heat on the nose, but as an apple,
it's kind of funky.
It's got some funk.
It's got some funk in it, which is not. I mean, again, that's part of the honey. I'm sure there's some honey additive. Obviously, it's all over the barrel.
Additives? You mean honey added?
Yeah, honey added. Sorry,
you said honey additives, and I was like, oof.
Con permiso.
Let's get into this.
Oh my goodness!
Whoa. It's very.
There's an apple cider vinegar finish,
but not in a bad way.
No, I don't. Well, I don't know. I like apple cider vinegar, so I'm
very apple. This is like apple juice that, and I hate to say this, it's a little bit expired, but you open it and drink it anyway. This is exactly what it tastes like in a good 16% though.
You know, it's interesting. Okay, so there's a lot going on here. This is pretty complex. So the honey, I think the funkiness comes from the honey, right? Because this is the thing with bees. You can't make the bees go after a certain style of flower, which means they're grabbing anything and everything out there. Sagebrush and tumbleweed and mesquite and all the things that are out there in the Mojave.
Luke, sounds like the most hipster piss bomb ever. I don't disagree 100% with you there, is all I'll say. Ed, what's going on, man? Hey, Ed says, hey, what's cracking, brothers? What's up, man?
Well, that second sip was much better.
Good. Welcome. Okay.
I think the second sip was much better. I will say I'm interested in I think the barrel finish. I think that whiskey barrel finish brings out hints of like spice and cinnamon.
There is definitely a burnt sugar element somewhere in there.
Oh,
I get like a creme brulee, like the cracked top, like you just take a lick of that.
Absolutely.
And you put it back down. That's what I'm getting. I don't know if it's in the nose or if it's in the taste. I want to say it's in the taste. It has a delightful kind of that like kind of creamy caramel, like kind of burnt sugar taste to it. Then it goes kind of right into the apple, but it does not in any form or fashion drink like a 16%er. If I didn't know that, I would sit here and drink this.
Yeah, this doesn't taste like alcohol
and be slammed. And I think this is one of those things that you really drink for effect. I don't know that I'm thoroughly enjoying this, but that's not a bad thing.
Interesting.
It's not a bad thing. It's the only one I have. So.
I think going off of the 3-sip rule, getting into that. So first sip, right? Shock to the palate. Second sip, kind of eases you into it. Third sip, you should really start to acquaint yourself with what's going on.
Yeah.
And I think that this bottle actually is probably one of the better. I think it's probably one of the better examples of how that 3-sip rule applies to a beverage,
It
a spirit,
does.
because that first sip was like kind of vinegary. You're
Funky.
right, didn't taste great.
Yeah.
The second sip, a lot better. And by the third sip, I'm with you. I don't taste a lot of alcohol. It tastes like a really nice cider, but the
Yeah.
alcohol is not very prevalent.
No, like I said,
Um,
it's like a little off
It's off.
apple
It
cider.
tastes off.
But not that's because it's fermented, right?
Right.
But it's like you have an apple, like just to so our friends out there know what it, what we're trying to relate it to. Really quick though. So Ed's been tied up with work, but it's good to see you. Good to see you as well. Awesome to see you,
Nice
man.
to see you, Ed.
Top Feed, it reminds him of a meth lab in Temecula. Interesting.
Tell us all about it.
I was like, where are you going with that? I love Temecula. Old
Me
downtown
too.
Temecula is a
So I'm like,
awesome place to
I
hang
am
out
intrigued.
and drink, and the weather is just like perfect year round in Temecula. Like, and Luke's sipping on a little Jack Daniel's single barrel. Is that the single barrel proof rye? Right on. Wow. And I've seen that drop recently. So what are your thoughts? Let us know how it is. So
Is it
what
the
else?
green label?
That is the green label.
Nice.
Correct. Yeah.
Very nice.
So yeah, let us know in the chat if you
Jimmy, what are you thinking about this? What's your initial thoughts?
So I don't know. I'm kind of torn. Like it's almost like I want to drink it for effect. I don't really get a lot of complexity in it. It's complexity. It's pleasant. It's nice. It's tasty. Do I want to buy another bottle? Not really. Do I enjoy it? Yes, but not enough to like, oh, I need more.
Interesting.
He has the gold label.
Oh,
gold label. Yeah, got it. Very good.
I think that you're going to drink this for effect whether you want to or not. I think at 16%, this is going to knock you on your keister.
Wow.
This is
wow.
Interesting.
I almost get like that burnt marshmallow, like a campfire marshmallow that you have.
Huh.
Like you're about to make a s'mores, it catches on fire. I get like a little bit of that marshmallowy pillowiness essence in the taste. And I think as this warms up and kind of settles down a bit,
that's what I'm wondering. I'm wondering
if
it's
it's getting a little bit more
cold.
deep and complex. I think it is. I would say it is
too chilled.
If I had to guess where we're at with this, we're probably at about 60 degrees, which means it probably needs a bit of warmth.
We'll let that sit. We'll tell some stories. We'll let that sit and come to temp.
Yeah.
I'm also I'll tell you one thing that this makes me think of a little bit. It gives me cognac vibes.
Absolutely. Even cognac, Armagnac. I definitely get that vibe.
Right?
100%. So that's great that you brought that up. So if you're looking for a comparison,
vibes.
Definitely.
Not wine. So yeah, this is not a wine. And I think I'd like to address, I'm surprised it hasn't come up in the chat, but maybe it's just because you watched this show so many times that
this is a house of learned doctors. Didn't you know that?
I know. I'm sorry. Why would I doubt such learned people? Because you were watching us. That's why. Is it sweet, right? I always like to address like, oh, honey mead, honey wine, and fruit. This has got to be so sweet. But you got to remember that to make the alcohol, to make this work, you have to mix in yeast. And what does yeast eat? Yeast eats sugar, right? Sugar. So it's actually taking sugar out of
apple
the beverage,
juice, basically,
right? Yeah. It's taking it out, and that's creating your alcohol. So it's not very sweet.
How is it created? Through a process of defecation, actually.
Of piss and defecation, yeah. Yeast is basically an animal.
That's eating
the sugar, and then it literally, as a byproduct, a waste byproduct,
is alcohol.
It creates alcohol. Isn't that magical?
We all love it. All love it.
I'm going back in for another sip.
Ozzy's asking if it's more of a holiday drink. Absolutely. And that's really why we wanted to break this out, right? Because Halloween is over. And I hate to say this. I already see Christmas crap all over Home Depot and all over Walmart.
Jingle bells.
Just drives me nuts. I don't need to see the Santa like waving at Home Depot. I'm like, November 8th. But anyway, Thanksgiving's around the corner. We wanted to break out some of the more festive, apple cider. Apples are big right now.
Yeah, tis the
And
season.
tis the season to have a little treat here.
A little cider action.
Welcome,
a little appley action.
Welcome fall. And Uncle P says before, during, or after dinner wine.
That's a great question. I definitely not with. This is not a with. Not with dinner. Before
I would pregame this.
You'd pregame it, huh? I'd after.
I think you're thinking other. Yeah,
I'd after this.
Yeah.
But it's interesting, right? Because when I think about trying to drink this on a full stomach, which I'm not doing right now, I'm pre-gaming this, right?
Yeah.
So I'm kind of with you on that. If I had to drink this after, I might think it's a little too rich, and I might be like, oh God, don't make me drink that. Where I want an Underberg after.
Here's what I'm thinking, though.
So maybe you're right. Maybe this is a before dinner.
This is kind of bizarro because I'm the exact opposite of you. I think as an after, this is a great pregame.
Yeah.
Because it's what,
15,
16%.
You've swayed me.
I think because it's light and it's delicate. I don't think it's thick, rich, and creamy. When I have an after dinner, like an Armagnac or a cognac or a nice scotch, I want a thick, meaty after dinner treat because I'm usually smoking a cigar.
I wanted to push everything down.
One of those weird Korean blueberry cigarettes that Grace picked up the other day. Like,
what?
Oh yeah. Like, where did these come from?
Oh my God,
it's blueberry. So it's like a Camel Crush, but the menthol Crush is blueberry flavor.
You lost me.
Whatever. Korean cigarettes are apparently like a big deal, and they have a bunch of weird ones. But anyway.
Okay.
That was digress.
I'm going to join you. You've swayed me. I think this is a before dinner.
Yeah.
I think you have this before you eat. Agreed. Agree.
Think about this. Having this as a prequel to like a big Thanksgiving dinner, fall time, this could cut through, I think, a really rich stew or like something, that you'd be cooking all day long in the
preparation.
Crock pot. Yeah.
Hey, special producer guest, what do you think?
Well, hold on. Has the guest even had this yet?
Yes.
What do you think over there?
Before or after?
Why don't you fill up her cup first? I see that, and I respect that answer. So there is it's okay.
One after, and I want to go
after.
We're going to go with before. But I think you could probably do it with either. I want grappa after a big meal.
There's instances. I think it depends on the meal. Like you think of like Top Feed over there having a bolognese. That's going to be heavy, cheesy, creamy, rich.
I hope so.
I probably want something. I definitely would want a grappa, Underberg, aperitif, chartreuse.
What kind of pasta are you serving this bolognese with?
Oh, quite the question.
Well, what are you topping? A little penne, a little ziti. What are you doing?
Do like the big thick noodles, right? For a bolognese,
a little spaghetti.
I forgot what they're called. No. It's not thin spaghetti. It's the big boys.
You want to do the
what are they called? No. They're round. They're like spaghetti noodles. They're just fatter, and I don't know what they're called. Please, I know I have Google right here, but I figured the audience could just answer the question.
How about bow ties?
Did you know that some chef over the past 10 years created, they call it the perfect pasta?
No, tell me about it.
And the reason it's like is it radiatory or like radiator? It's like radiator is how it looks.
Okay.
But it's like a mix between a bow tie, but it's like rolled up a little bit.
Okay.
And it has just like a lot of grooves in it.
Oh, so it catches all the sauce.
And it just sucks in all the sauce. And guess where they use these little noodles at?
Where?
Esther's Kitchen here in Vegas.
Of course they do.
So Esther's Kitchen, which is probably one of my favorites, top 5.
Delicious.
In Vegas.
Fabulous.
If you guys make it out here,
worth it.
I think he's my namesake, Mr. Tree, Chef Tree over there. Esther's Kitchen is kicking.
How is that your namesake?
Butt. He's a James. I think he's James.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's Orecchietta. Yeah, and then he said bow ties would also go well with that. Bow ties. Okay.
I do like a little bow tie.
No, but again, I think bow ties has little grooves in it.
It does.
So you're capturing a lot of the sauce
into the center. Oh,
yeah. There you go. That was quite the pivot. So anyway, It's food and
Apparently I
things we
need to
like here
eat.
on this show.
Apparently I
We
need to eat.
and we all like to eat, obviously. Here,
Tis
as you guys
that's
can
why
tell.
it is the month of eating. I love this month. It's the month of eating.
The next 2 months. Hello.
I know. Oh my god! And the next
We-
month is nothing but treats. Just treats, treats,
Right.
treats.
Exactly.
And boy, do we have treats for you.
So why don't you tell us? So why don't you talk a little bit more about our
Mhm.
visit to Superstition that we had down in the basement of
Yeah.
Prescott? Any recollections? Anything that stood out?
Yeah, I can think about some things that stood out. Yeah.
Harrah's Orchard. Does that ring a bell?
Oh my god. Yeah. So let me tell you a story.
Yeah.
So we obviously went down there. You can go back and watch our live from Superstition. It's a very early episode. Very early. Like
We were
maybe
live. I think we just
in
did
the
a
first
short.
maybe in the first 10 episodes of this show. So you'd have to go back pretty far. It was a magical experience. Obviously, we were very excited. They were super cool with us filming and going live and having some fun as well. We hung out down there. We had good food. We returned. We had a hard time finding dinner that night. We ended up going to a very well preserved saloon where we had more drinks and food, and it started snowing. And I just remember you and I were sitting there waiting for our food. We'd had like more whiskey brought to the table. Definitely we should not have. And we're just sitting there watching the snow. And I just remember going, oh, my car has no chains or snow tires. And you went, let's go back to Superstition. I said, yep. We're not getting up in the morning and leaving. We might as well.
That, like, I don't know that trip could have been planned any more perfectly.
Oh,
that
amazing.
weather,
it was amazing.
that snow,
that was scary.
It started at like the perfect time. We were already settled in at the bar.
Oh, yeah. Just
sitting a couple of whiskeys deep,
big window,
and then it just starts
and just
snowing,
big fluffy
and like,
flakes.
I mean, we're here in Vegas, so we don't really see it that a lot. So
and we were like, wow. So yeah, so we go back to close down
Superstition,
over at Superstition,
because after that saloon, it was like,
and I feel like that the nighttime team over there was even cooler than the afternoon team, and that
afternoon team was amazing,
and that was
very hard to beat. They set the bar super high in the afternoon. That I just remember that meat and cheese, little charcuterie tray was fantastic.
Oh yeah,
just all their food.
That was like $100 charcuterie tray that they were like
$30.
Oh, that's $30. We're like,
and it probably had like 2 pounds of meat, 2 pounds of cheese on it.
Should have been $100.
Yeah, and we just sat there and then had a flight of like 10 different meads. Remember that?
Yes. So then we go back over there and we're like, well, let's have a couple more.
Yeah, we got a nightcap.
We were already pretty toasty.
And we were on foot, just to be clear.
Oh, yeah,
so
we're walking around.
We were walking around
snow.
in the snow, but it was perfect because you could walk around and you kind of like wake up a little bit,
especially out there in a little chilly action.
Yeah.
So we go back over there and get hunkered back down in a corner, and we're like, well. She goes, our server comes over. Hey, what do you guys want? And we're like, well, we've already had a few tonight. We probably shouldn't go like a full 6 mead tasting. So you know what? Let's just do like 3 each. And she's like, okay. She literally rolled back over and she's like, well, I know you picked 3 and you picked 3. And then I added 3 more of my favorites. So here's 6 anyways. And we're like, okay. But yes, Harrah's Orchard, which was a peach
honey mead.
I think it was a mellow mel.
Yeah.
It was just
fantastic.
It was like if you took peaches and you soft pressed them in a press and you just got like peach nectar, right?
Yeah.
And then you
mixed
somehow
it with honey.
made it honey viscous and alcohol-y.
Aged it. It's like
it was ridiculous. Like it was ridiculously good. And I know I'm going to say it. I was inebriated. I was
at that point. Yeah, at that point you're really feeling it.
I was tired. I was dipped. Okay. I was faded.
Which I loved that we were on foot because I do remember that we had to walk pretty far after that because there wasn't
up to the hotel.
Prescott doesn't have they don't have like a huge crazy Uber system.
Oh, there's no Uber system.
So walking,
there's no parking.
Actually was to the benefit.
It's an old West town.
Yeah.
There's a place to hitch your horse.
Couple chat things I want to get to. Top Feed says we do a guest. We get Top Feed on and cook during the show. We do a little cooking show.
Remember
And
that
we
movie?
can
That
pair
show?
it with something.
This is a good idea. It's like dinner and a movie
Yes, but we're gonna
on
do
TBS. That was a
do
good thing.
dinner and a drink.
Drinks and a dinner.
Drinks and a dinner. Taco Bell dog, what's up? Hey yo. And
Yo
Mrs.
quiero
Haskins
Taco
asking
Bell
if we were
dog.
there during COVID. It wasn't COVID, was it? No, nobody was. Well, it was.
It was.
But Arizona didn't have a mask mandate. That
I
was like the
remember.
one. That was Arizona. There, it's
Remember?
like, guys, it's a Wild West in Arizona. At least
Remember?
where we were.
Because we had to make the joke that we had to take off our masks.
Yeah, you actually couldn't go into a place if you were married.
If you had a mask on, they looked at you funny and went, "You ain't from around here, are you, boy?
You boys ain't from around here." No mask.
Yeah, no mask."
And actually, it felt liberating and it felt great because we were. I think this was at the tail end
Very
of the
shut
vid.
down.
Where in
Yeah.
Vegas everything was still shut down. Everybody's wearing
Yeah.
masks. It's all demoralizing.
the
No one
end
was
of
left their
2020.
house. Then we went down to Prescott and it was like no mask. It was like,
Rip 'em off.
Yeah, no masks. Loved it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So
And that's when we
It's
made
great.
the crazy long. Remember the crazy long comeback? We had to get rerouted because the road was closed.
We had to take the scenic route.
So we had to take the scenic route back home because the way we would have
That
come
was
back
amazing though.
was shut down
11.
because of the snow.
Yeah, the 11 had like a big accident on it. So
Yeah.
we couldn't go north and cut on the 11 up to Laughlin and go to
instead,
Vegas.
we went south.
We had to go south and cut around up.
And-
Was it Bullhead City? I think and go up
Well,
and around.
Well, we ended up going south and coming back around onto the 40.
yeah,
And then since we had come around that way, we're like, why don't we go ahead and come up through Laughlin? And remember, didn't we? Oh yeah, we had lunch in Lake Havasu.
we did. We stopped at
That was a good
College
day.
College Street.
Yeah.
College Street Brewing in Lake Havasu.
I had a good meal. Had a nice little lunch.
Was that
Little-
Havasu or is that in Laughlin?
No, that's in Havasu.
Havasu. A little. What is the big blue van?
Big blue van.
Good food there. This is like good
Food
bar
was
food.
great,
Good.
yeah.
Shout out to College Street Brewing in Lake Havasu. If you
And
guys are
then
out here,
I was
gonna
gonna.
had big blue van, solid beer, like a nice light pool pounder.
It was getting kind of late, but I wanted us to stop in Laughlin
Yeah.
to have the $5.99 prime rib special. It was like $5.99 for a cut of prime rib and a baked potato bar.
Railroad Pass still does like I think it's $9.99 now for like a big prime rib slab.
We should go out there. You know that. So Railroad Pass is like,
It's just like a truckers casino out in the middle of nowhere.
but it's historically significant.
It is. It is very. It does have.
It's the
a lot
first
of history.
casino in Southern Nevada. It's still
Oh,
standing.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's been around since like 1898.
I've always had like a distant dream of just acquiring and running one of those little hotel casinos. Like that would be amazing.
And then
Like, I would
redid it.
love to run Railroad Pass. Like just own it, run it, live there, kick ass running it.
Do you remember for a hot minute?
It'd
do you
be
remember
so much fun
MGM? That was an MGM property for a hot minute, right?
It was,
And it was
then
in
they
their
sold it off.
family
Yeah.
of places. You go to the MGM Resorts International website and be like, Aria, MGM Grand, Railroad Pass.
They called it the core offering.
Yeah. And you
It's
could
like
book.
way
You could go to
bottom list.
MGM Resorts International to book a room.
In all
at
fairness,
Railroad Pass.
it was listed higher than Circus on the
Yeah.
list. Just
In all
saying.
fairness,
That's
I
a-
would stay at Railroad Pass before I'd stay at Circus
10,000%.
or Excalibur
Excalibur was lower on the list.
or even the Luxor.
I don't know where the Luxor was.
I would still stay at Railroad Pass before I'd stay at any of those three places.
I would too.
And that's really saying something if you know the Railroad Pass.
So do we want to rate this? What are we giving this? You want to throw a score at it? Like,
I know it's not easily gotten right. This is kind of a one and done bottle, but can you give us a number? What whereabouts does this fall?
I mean, nose taste value. I'm kind of
In the
like,
value spot. Where's the value?
I don't even remember how much I paid for it. So that right there. Oh, Uncle P says the Rio. Hey, the Rio's on the come up. So
It
they
is.
this company called Dreamscape bought them from Caesars, the Rio, and they have just in October they transitioned over from Caesars ownership to Dreamscape ownership. And this guy that owns it, it's like an REIT that bought it, but they're getting a gaming license.
That's Australian, right? REIT.
No, a real estate investment trust, an REIT. For our Lions out there, they would have known what an REIT was.
Oh.
But anyway,
I thought it was an REIT.
shout out to the Robin Hood Wall Street out there. So anyway, the I can't get over this. So Dreamscape acquired this place, and they have just poured a ton of money into it. So they like did a whole slot machine swap out. They're doing a whole. They repainted the outside of the building. It looks all brand new and fresh. And they're going through a room remodel right now. I see the Rio back on the come up.
Yeah, agreed.
My inkling is too. There was rumblings that they were looking to put potentially the A's Stadium there if the Tropicana deal fell through. So
yeah, it's a good backup.
It's a good backup, and I think it's a great location. I mean,
I'd still stay at Railroad Pass before I'd stay at the Rio right now.
The new Rio, I would give it a chance.
I would when it's done.
Railroad Pass. The problem with Railroad Pass, it's out in the middle of nowhere, really. I mean,
it's close to my house.
Well, of course, because you live in the middle
of nowhere.
But give Rio a second chance
eventually,
because I'd say within 6 months.
Hold on, real quick.
Penn and Teller, you can't miss those guys. They're the greatest.
It is, and they've got a beautiful that stage and showroom is still beautiful.
Legends, Penn and Teller.
Hold on, real quick. Yeah. Would you stay right now, today?
Okay.
Where would you stay if you had to stay between the Tropicana, the Oyo,
yikes,
or the Rio? Where would you stay?
Hands down, Rio.
If you had to stay somewhere right now,
I would chance the Rio because I think they're like 50% done with the Ruby model. So I would sandwich the clerk at the front desk when I checked in. Okay. So if you guys don't know, you put your credit card ID, put like a 20.
No, don't teach people this.
Put a $50 bill in between and just be like, hey, if you got any upgrades available, you do the slide. It's called the sandwich slide to the clerk. They get you one of those.
Really
be like, hey,
you could do.
Hey, I'm just looking for that upgraded room. If you got something, you slide it over. They pull it out. They put it in their pocket and they hook you up. That's a sandwich. $20 sandwich doesn't fly anymore. It's got to be 50.
Yeah,
$20 sandwich flew
over
in the front desk days like 15 years ago when I was at the front desk.
$20 don't get you nothing.
No,
it gets you a view.
$20
get you a high floor
near
and a view
if you want to be. But I would sandwich at the Rio and get an upgraded room. Tropicana is just a mess. Oyo is just disgusting.
Oh God, the Oyo.
It was the former Hooters hotel bought out by some conglomerate.
It's a Hotel Patel.
Oyo, which I've never. Yeah, that's exactly what
Oyo is a Hotel Patel.
Anyway. Top Feed says REIT BJ. So Uncle P, there's your answer, Rio, if you had to choose. But again, that's like if you pay a couple more bucks, you can get a substantially better room product. And I would say the MGM kind of falls in that like just go spend like 20 or 30 bucks more a night to get into that on the strip. I personally,
but the Circus is willing to give me a room for $14 a night.
Yeah, and then you go in there and you realize they have a $30 resort fee and 12% or 16% room tax,
and a
$200
hospital fee for when you get bed bugs,
and $50 a day for parking. So before you know it, if you have a vehicle, you're still paying out the
It's a fact.
And,
it's a fact.
But personally, I say go downtown, stay at Circa, go to Circa,
the G-Nug
or Golden Nugget. I think those both hold up to this day.
Agreed.
And Circa is adults only, no kids, no strollers.
What about
I'm all
Grand?
about that. No,
but I like the Grand.
The Grand's okay.
Or the D? You stayed at the D?
Long time ago. I don't know what their room product looks like. Mrs. Askin says MGM, New York. Yes, Miss New York. Dark Horse Resorts World. I totally agree. They are just giving rooms away right now.
Resorts World is
brand new. It's a brand new room product.
It's a strip backbone.
I think they're going to go bankrupt once Fountain Blue opens. In my personal opinion.
You think so?
I think they are hurting.
You think they're going to go restructure?
Fountain Blue's going to take all their business.
I think so too.
Because I think they're in it to win it for the north end of the strip.
Mm-hmm.
And Resorts World has it. Well, they have an identity crisis right now, and
that's a fact.
It's basically like walking into a mall too. I always feel weird when I go in there. It's too.
What happened to the cool concept of like the giant lantern you were going to walk into with the panda bears, and like what happened to this cool concept that we were going to get with Resorts World? It never
never happened. Yeah, they had this whole like panda garden or like
it was going to be awesome,
like, bebopping around in the front, and it never happened.
It was going to it was going to be this very cool Chinese theme. That we just never got.
Ed! Oh, that brings back memories for me too. He goes, awesome memories of the Rio back in 2001 in the window elevator going up to the Voodoo Lounge.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Talk about being a baller.
Oh. Wow.
Yeah.
That I can't tell you how many. Oh, that's a big night stay.
Big
Yeah,
baller
and
shot
they would
caller.
have that big at the Rio. They had this amazing. It was kind of like 2 rooms that you could book that would turn into one. They like kind of like opened up the, I don't know, the doors or something. And it was just like this big kind of suite that was in the middle and had this big giant like just panoramic glass on the window. And I remember we had a huge blowout party there. Like this was years ago, just like an all out rager. And we probably had like 50 people up in that room. And people were like throwing furniture around, just losing their minds and drinking. And we didn't even hear a peep. One of these clowns that we had in the group went down, got 86th because she was so hammered. She tipped, she was like stumbling around the casino and she lost her like balance and grabbed a blackjack table and tipped it over.
Yeah.
Tipped over a blackjack
All right.
table.
Now it's a party.
Security put her in a wheelchair. She starts throwing around her room key. They take her up to the party room, which was a bad idea.
Oh, not good.
And then, of course, I was like talking to some other group of people. There's so many people here. She gets wheeled in. Security asks her, does she belong here? And everyone like plays dumb. They're like, we don't know who this person is. Yeah, it was terrible. So they wheel her away. They wheel her away. And we never. I don't know what happened to her. I don't know. Obviously
only in Vegas anymore. You know, can I tell you a fun story about the Rio?
Miss Askin's senior prom was at the Voodoo Lounge.
Whoa, memories. There's a story I don't know.
Memories. Wheelchair party. That's exactly what it was.
I want to point out. So this sign here, the Barrel Buddy sign that was gifted to us by Mr. Jordan Dove, Jordan Cursosimo Dove.
Shout out to J Dove.
I want to bring that up because
Jordan Dove, for all your real estate needs in Las Vegas, hit us up if you need to find a home here in Vegas.
Absolutely, we should put that in the chat. Put J Dove in the chat.
Yeah. I'll find his website here. Yeah.
So Jordan Dove's grandfather,
okay,
Rudy Cursosimo Dove, God rest his soul.
Okay.
I met Rudy several times. Rudy was a cool dude. Rudy was a sign designer for Yesco Signs in Las Vegas.
Yesco Signs, geez, they do like every neon sign up and down the strip.
They do everybody's.
I had no idea.
And Rudy designed the Rio sign.
No way.
That sign out in front of the Rio with the maracas.
Yeah,
that's a Rudy Cursosimo sign.
Shout out to Jordan Dove. Jordan, he's got a great website, jordandove.com, and he's got a YouTube. Yeah. He's got a YouTube page.
He sure does.
So go check him out, man. Check out our friend Jordan. If you guys looking for some real estate info, that's our guy. He's a great dude. Great dude.
He is.
So,
all right. So nose taste value.
Nose taste value. I mean, I'm like sitting. I'm thinking around like 60s and 70s.
Roll it.
Like I'm feeling like I'm not super generous when it comes to these ratings. I'm thinking like a 75.
I think that's kind of generous.
Yeah, maybe a little more. Maybe like 70 to 75.
Okay.
It's kind of where I think it falls. I really don't want to nail down a score because I think this has a time and a place. It's not bad. It's not amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of just a solid middle of the road.
Mm-hmm.
It's something unique. It's something I've never had before.
Yeah,
like, I don't drink apple wine like ever. One of a kind. But again, like we said, you guys can go to Superstition. We had it up in the chat earlier. Check them out. They deliver to 40 states. Buy a few bottles. I wanted to share, like, give your rating, and then we're going to share their website.
Thanks.
And show
a
little bit.
I don't like the nose. I think the nose is too funk.
Yeah.
I think that the one thing, it's got a decent flavor, and I think the more you drink it, the better it gets. But there is this flavor that keeps just clawing its way back into the palate of apple cider vinegar, which I think it's a detriment.
Yeah.
And as far as a value, I would bet as a one-off, this is probably sticking around $100. Okay. I think the Superstition makes way better meads than this. I've had way better meads than this. And I would tell you that we're going to look at a couple of meads like Berry White and Grand Cru and Chocolate Grand Cru, which are way better than this. And then are way better price. So I'm also going to stick around 70. I was going to even say 65. I think you're right. Time and place, right? I think there is a time and place for this. But yeah, I'd give it like a 65 out of 100. I mean, it's cool. It's good. It's unique. It's very interesting. I'm not sad about it. I'm not spitting it out, obviously.
Yeah. So this actually, really quick, this came out in 2020. So It's been sitting a little bit. Not a bad thing.
No.
It's super limited, 16% apple wine. They aged Colorado whiskey barrels for a year.
Bet you it's Stranahan's.
Probably. It looks like it was. So the Contingency series from Superstition is a monthly small batch limited release of curated, creatively, directly from the imaginations of the Superstition Mazers. Do you know what a mazer is?
It's a mead maker.
There you go.
They hold the Mazers Cup every year in Colorado
That's it.
during the Great American Beer Festival.
So that is that. And did you give a score? Maybe I told him.
60, 65.
All right. Top Feed says, every time I think I'm remembering early 2000s at the Rio, they're actually thinking about the Pepper Mill in Rio.
Wait.
Or the Palms.
I love the
Pepper Mill
Mill.
is another place we haven't talked about.
Yes.
And
talking about my hometown.
Pepper Mill, was it the Scorpion, the fishbowl?
Oh, it's so good.
You got to go to the fireplace. You got to don't go. The restaurant's just whatever. The restaurant is just hangover food.
How dare you?
Don't give me that. Don't give me that. You only eat
dare
there when you're
you.
hungover or you need a good base.
How
It's
dare
just
you?
it's just diner food. It's
Yeah.
nothing spectacular.
It's spectacular diner
whatsoever.
food.
It's okay. It's like Denny's Plus. Anyway, the key is to get into that lounge with like the velvet. Everything's like covered, like
Called
velvet covered couches.
The Fireside Lounge.
Fireside Lounge. Thank you very much. You get the fire pits.
They're playing 90s music videos.
Neon lights, kind of like
Dave
all
Matthews
throughout
is
the
blaring
place.
in the background.
Yeah, and then they play random music videos from like
Salt
the
and Pepper.
80s up, and it's just the coolest place.
Chili Peppers.
And
Everything's in a
Uncle P
fishbowl.
was Peppermill Reno was rated his first legal drink when he turned 21.
Nice. I'm so proud of you.
That's really awesome. Bullish is saying they have had shitty meads and good ones. We're in the same boat.
Yep.
I totally agree.
There's nothing in the middle. There's no middle ground in meads.
There is not. It's either
either good
amazing
or bad.
or not good.
Well, except for this. I think this is middle of the ground, right?
Yeah, but I almost don't consider this like a true mead. Like it's like an apple wine.
It's a wine.
It's I don't really even know how they're differentiating. Couldn't you just have called this an apple mead?
I mean, I would have.
Yeah.
It tastes like sweetened apple cider vinegar.
Yeah. Anyway,
Maybe it's a hard cider.
I want to show their website because
Let's talk
is
about
really
that Grand
cool.
Cru really quick.
Yeah. So guys, just here are all the states that it's available in. They're available in 40 states. You can go to their website right now. Here's my recommendation though. Always during the holidays, they offer, if you follow them at Superstition Meadery on Instagram, they offer it's either like a 20 or 25% off
Pretty
discount
good.
code for like a weekend. So follow them on Instagram and then put it in order. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, this number one here, this top blueberry spaceship box is so good. $18.99, then you minus that by 20%. That's a crazy deal. And that's a $7.50,
You're
right?
taking a fifth of that off, yeah?
Yeah. So then we move down. I'm just going to skip ahead to some
Aphrodisia's
stuff that I
okay.
know is really good.
PB and jelly crime.
They're really known for peanut butter and jelly
Very
crime,
famous.
but it's different, is what I want to say.
It's not as good as it used to be.
It's different.
Spoken like real beer nerds. It's not as good as it used to be.
Batch one is nothing's better than batch one. Anyway, going down here, going down.
Grand Cru.
Barry White.
Nothing gets better than that.
We got to talk about Barry White.
Nothing gets better than Grand Cru.
So Barry White was probably one of their highest rated meads of all time.
Delightful.
And it is just amazing. So what they do with
Ridiculous.
Grand Cru is they mix, they blend, they do a cuvee of the blueberry, blackberry, raspberry, and strawberry Barry Whites. And they age that in oak barrels. And yeah, it's pricey. It's for a 375, but you get the 20-25% off if you hold tight.
Dude, $54.
This is worth it alone.
And I'm sorry I know that a 375 is a smaller bottle, but guys, you
Goated.
are not gonna drink all of this. This is super.
No.
rich.
This is like thick as molasses.
You can't.
Yeah,
You're not
you
gonna
don't-
pop this and drink it like a beer.
Yeah, your blood sugar is gonna go through the roof.
You're gonna die.
Like a diabetic coma if you're not careful.
I had one small pour of this and then said, "Oh my god, this is delicious. Take this away from me immediately. I cannot drink anymore."
It's nuts, and you don't stop. Like I don't stop. This okay.
The
I'm losing my
chocolate?
mind because
it's so good.
this is a variant of a variant. I had the chocolate Grand
my
Cru
God.
Berry. Was one of the only. So at the latest beer, what were we at the brewery festival 2 years ago?
4. It was 4
Pre-COVID?
years. Yeah.
So
This is 2019.
2019. This was insanity.
is ridiculous.
Absolutely. All they do is they put cocoa nibs in it,
Ridiculous.
but it was like
Next level.
chocolate pudding in the
next
Grand Cru mead, which already was like a fruit bomb, and it was just like mind blowing. Boom. And this is all coming in at 12%.
I'm sorry, I gotta. I hate to pick on your descriptor.
Yeah.
Pudding. I don't know that pudding's the right descriptor. Truffle, like.
Oh, that's way, but yeah, truffle.
I'm sorry, pudding. Pudding is like a weird
chocolate truffle
adjective.
I'm thinking of like a snack pack. I'm hankering.
I'm with you. It sounds delicious. There's nothing wrong with a good snack pack, but truffle, right? I mean, it's such high end. It's just so high end.
Look at this. Coconut, strawberry, barrel aged peanut butter jelly crime. What? What? What are your feelings on that?
I don't know.
I think this could be a winner.
I don't know about that.
Strawberry and blueberry mead fermented with coconut and peanuts, aged in a rum barrel for 2 years.
I don't know about that.
You'd have to try it.
I don't. Yeah,
You'd have to try it. Try it.
I don't know about that.
Grand Cru is goated. Like I said, like it's
greatest of all time.
So
greatest,
so good. And shout out to Corey's. I feel bad because for the longest time they were like trying to blow out a bunch of their berry white.
Yep.
And I think because they go for like $70 a bottle
or more.
But they had them for like 40 at one point. I just like spaced out and buying them, and of course somebody came in and scooped them all up.
Good for them.
I think I have one bottle left.
Save it for a rainy day.
Toffee saying peanut butter. PB&J meat is a ticket to the gates of hell. I like that.
Hey, don't knock it till you try it, man.
So what is weird and what throws you off is the peanuts. So you think because it says and peanuts added, you're like, oh, peanut butter. And I automatically thought, oh, it's going to be like Jif with jelly. It's like, I picture like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. No, it literally tastes like they boiled nuts, like boiled peanuts, where it kind of like you eat do you remember like you're peeling nuts out of the shell and you eat one and it has like an off taste? You're like, ooh, like, was that a bad one? Or kind of like a raw, like a tart?
It's like peanut skin. Right?
Yes.
Kind of bitter.
But that off weird flavor or unripe flavor is the peanut flavor in peanut butter jelly crime.
It is.
And so it throws you off when you drink it because you're like, oh, that's like.
You go, that's weird and kind of bitter, but it offsets the sweetness of the grape. It's good.
Excuse me. Yeah. That's pretty good stuff.
And for those of you that are saying, how dare you? I would just say, hey, how about blue waffle? Right? It was like Garage East.
Well, now you're getting to Garage East. Shout out to our friends Chad and Sarah down in Florida.
Yeah, blue waffle.
The rumblings are that they're only going to be open for the remainder of 2023.
Too bad. That's going to be a loss of a good meadery.
I think they might go into Q1, but it makes me very sad.
The loss of a good meadery
might be going. So Garage East,
cheers
friends,
to you, Garage East.
Yeah, cheers to Garage East. And give me a toast to.
And cheers to you, Superstition.
But cheers to Garage East.
And cheers to our friend. Can we cheers our friend who's making some local mead?
Yeah, cheers. Who's that?
To Jesse.
Oh yeah, guys, our friend, our local mazer. I'm gonna start calling him that, Mazer Jesse.
Mazer Jesse.
Yeah, makes some pretty fire mead. So be on the lookout for his mead. We'll have it on the show one of these days. I know we get some bottles.
Good. He's a traditionalist.
Traditionalist, which is sometimes not my bag, baby. As Austin Powers says, but I know you're a fan, and I know a lot of other people that are fans. But like I said, just mash up a Krispy Kreme donut in a bottle.
Another Mazer that we're leaving out.
Yeah, what's that?
He's not on the show because he's so busy being a Mazer.
Who's this?
Zach.
Oh,
Zach
the Phantom Mazer Dial. Zach the Phantom.
Zach.
So Zach the Mazer. Yeah, we got to get him back on the show.
He makes so much mead these days.
Here's the thing.
That banana cream pie mead.
He's got like 4 different meads on deck. I told him we're doing them on the show.
We should.
And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say, hey, just bring over those meads. And we're just going to have a show.
It's going to be like the SHOT Show. It's going to be so bad.
Bring all 4. I think he said one is coming in at 12%, like the banana mead he made.
He added bananas in the secondary. And a whole lot more honey.
I'm confident he really has talked it up.
I know.
His other half has talked it up. So
I know.
I really can't wait to try some homemade meats. I'm about the homemade alcohol. I want to start distilling. I gotta bounce on this limoncello. Like, we just need to start a distillery here in the house. We need to find the local laws.
Lord.
I think we have to tax it and sell it. We can't get a distro it or sell it.
That's weird.
We can't distro, but we can sell it.
You can REI it.
REIT it. Anyway, for the Barrel Buddies, I'm James.
And I'm BJ.
See you
We'll
guys
see you next week.
Hold on, I gotta stop sharing and end the stream. See you.